Hello everyone, welcome to Lady Liadan's Learning Library. Today, in preparation for the Yuletide season, we are going to be making gingerbread. Gingerbread has come a long way since the Middle Ages. It was brought back from the Middle East by the Crusaders. It was originally, since ginger was really kind of hard to get in Europe, they used pepper. In our recipe today, we're going to use white pepper. The recipe that's in the description is actually a medieval recipe. So you're going to get the taste of the Middle Ages from this. It takes breadcrumbs and white pepper. You can add ginger if you want, but it also has cinnamon, and if you're feeling really well-to-do, you can add a pinch of saffron. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out with honey, and use your favorite honey. You're going to need about a cup of it. And then we're going to boil it down and skim off the top. Get the scum off the top of the honey. And then we're going to add our spices. And then we're going to add the breadcrumbs. So gingerbread really isn't like the gingerbread we have today. It's a little bit different, but I'm sure it's pretty tasty. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use a double boiler. That way it's a little bit safe. Young ones, you definitely need mom and dad's help for this. So we're going to turn this up. Oops. And we're going to have the water boil, which will heat this pan. Okay. So we'll get that started. And then we're going to need a cup, measuring cup of honey. Now I'm using a clover honey, store-bought. Now if you have a beekeeper or have bees, if you've got fresh honey, that's even better. Almost there. Now with anything sugar, and honey is a sugar, when you get it in the double boiler, you're going to have to stir and stir and stir and stir. And you have to keep on stirring until it boils. And then we're going to add all of our spices. Almost there. Alrighty, put that to the side. And then we pour it here into our double boiler. Okay, get the last of that honey in there. Right, set that off to the side, and then we're going to stir. Moms and dads, this is where you want to help out. This, since it's a sugar, You want to be in control. Let them help, yes. But you have to stir and stir and stir and stir. And if I know little ones get bored, things take too long. But that's okay. They'll have the fun in the eating of it. If you're using raw honey, you will more than likely have to skim off the top more. But since I'm using a pasteurized honey already, I will more than likely not have to. So what are some places that you can think of that are famous for gingerbread? That's right. Germany, Poland, and Switzerland, and all of those places in Eastern Europe. So the German knights coming back, or Germanic knights coming back from the Crusades, brought these wonderful spices, the white pepper and the cinnamon, and they decided they would do something fun with it. Now, the gingerbread of medieval times is more like a little ginger cake, or like a petit four. They're little tiny, but you roll out a dough-like structure, and you can cut it into shapes or into little squares and put cloves in it to make it festive. You'll want to take the cloves out before you eat. So what we're going to do with ours is I'm going to make a gingerbread man. Have you read the story of the gingerbread man? Run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me, the gingerbread man. What are some other stories that you can think of that have gingerbread in it? They're usually German stories. That would be right. Hansel and Gretel. What happened? What was the house made of that Hansel and Gretel found? That's right, gingerbread. So while we're waiting for that to boil, this is where having a second pair of hands always helps. Because you do have to stir and stir and stir. So we're going to need a teaspoon, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. We're just going to put it in this 1/4 cup measure here. Okay, so 1 teaspoon. That, and stir and stir and stir and stir. And if we want ginger, it'll be 1 teaspoon as well. Stir and stir and stir. doesn't look like I have much ginger. That'll have to be enough. I use a lot of ginger. And then white pepper. Stir and stir. Really want about it says 1/8 to 1/4 of a teaspoon. We're doing somewhere in the middle of that. Okay, that way when I'm ready to add those, all I have to do is dump them in. Alright, well, it's not boiling like water boils. It doesn't look like that. Gets these little, I want to say, spots in it. Or that's what it seems like to me. I'm going to bring you a little closer so that you can see what's going on. You see these wispy bits here? That's what we're going to be straining out, if we can get them all. Well, I got what I could out of it. All right. Okay. So now we're going to turn down the heat really, really low, and we're going to add our spices. Ooh, that smells interesting. Pepper and the ginger and the cinnamon all mixed together. Certainly a different Make sure you get all of the some of them like to ball up when you add to a liquid. That's okay. Okay, we're going to mix it up really well. And then we'll add the breadcrumbs. Now I'm using gluten-free breadcrumbs. Any breadcrumbs will do. Okay, looks like we are pretty well mixed. Ooh, that looks good. Okay, so the recipe says we're going to need about 1 3/4 cups of breadcrumbs. It says slowly add your breadcrumbs until it makes a stiff dough. Again, this is where having a second pair of hands helps tremendously. So, we are going to add a third cup. One, two. That's 1/2 cup there. Add this and stir. It does kind of smell like gingerbread. Ooh, can you see what it's doing? So you'll want to add these until it turns stiff, like a sugar cookie dough, I think. Okay, let's add another quarter. Another quarter. That makes a whole cup. Then we've got 3 more quarters to go. All right. Oops. One. 2. I think that's all that's left is another quarter. We'll just go ahead and add the rest of the bag, at least with this one. All right. Wow, do you see what it's doing now? It has a bit of an interesting texture. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this out onto parchment paper. Alright, so you're going to spoon it out onto parchment paper, then cover it with parchment paper, and then you're going to roll it flat. Once it's cool, then we can cut it into gingerbread shapes, gingerbread boy shapes, or we can cut it into little squares and stick cloves in it. Now that it's all nice and cool, we can take this off the top. Looks almost like toffee, doesn't it? And then we'll flip it over and take this off the back of it. Still kind of sticky, but that's okay. All right, so we'll take that off, and then we're going to use our cookie cutters. You can either cut it into squares, or you can cut little shapes out. This is quite a bit different than actual gingerbread. Okay. Here's our little gingerbread man. Put him over here. Run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. We're going to put cloves in for eyes. Now if you want to, you can decorate them however you want. Just like that. There's my little gingerbread man. Just like that. What do you think? Now those will definitely need to dry a little more, but the rest of them I'm just going to cut into squares. So we're going to take a knife just like this. You don't want your squares very big. These are going to be very, very sweet. Take a piece off to taste. That's really interesting. Now this is not something you would build a house out of. This is more of a candy as opposed to a cookie. Decorate the candy with the clove as well. But be sure not to eat the clove. You're going to want to take those out before you eat them. So, I hope we had fun making gingerbread today. It's a little different than the gingerbread cookies. It's more of a ginger candy. So, enjoy, and I'll see you next time.